It's a 3 a.m. dance party. What are all these filters in here? 8mm. Sketch. The haunt. Alright, we'll just go back to the normal. What if it... I wonder who actually has those on their phone. So we should get some different people than we normally get in the live streams. Since it's 3 a.m. Eastern. And your boy is having trouble sleeping. He just got done watching a movie in the living room. I'm usually in bed by like 10. But, Arun, Richie, what's going on, guys? I took a little bit of melatonin right before I did this live stream, so in about 30 minutes I'm going to pass out, hopefully. Having trouble sleeping tonight. Got done watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Thought I was expecting to fall asleep during it, and I did not even come close. You too, Ricky? Why has life got you up? I think it's just caffeine. On Saturdays, I allow myself to have one Monster. I don't have any during the rest of the week, and I don't know, I think it's just between that and the Focus Plus, I didn't get it all out of my system. I'm also doing a detox today, and so I don't know if maybe that had an effect on me. There might be some niacin in it. Niacin's also in energy drinks, so. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm good for the most part. You working on videos too, Ricky? I filmed 3 videos in the last 2 days. I got sponsored by Dead Mountain again, so I have to commit to about 4 videos a month, so which isn't too bad for me. And I had a sponsored video. I have a video coming out about I'm dreaming about coding again. So that's coming out. Talk about why that's important and when the first time that happened to me. I did a video about why I chose a computer science degree when I went to school, and I have a video coming out about my final review on the now degree program. So besides that, man, I've been working on my JavaScript course. Oh my god, I'm at 130 videos right now. And they're like 1 to 5 minutes, most of them. Very few are over 5 minutes. But, it's slowly killing me. So, we'll see what happens with that course. Hopefully people like it. I tell you what though, I learned a lot going through the documentation, learned about things, and I have a much better understanding of closures than I did before. Yeah, man, I understand hating school too. I'm only going back for more so I can get more money and make sure I don't get skipped over for promotions and things like that. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I found a program that I like, and honestly, the thing is that's funny about school is we go to class, but we don't actually learn anything in class or do any work in class. It makes me wonder why it's not all online. Yeah, I don't know. You guys have any New Year's resolutions? I have like 3. so far. I'm going to do a video about it. Why did you say in your last video that you doubt that you will ever work in Node, Express, and Mongo? Would you not want to do that? Oh, no, I totally would, but I'm going down a front-end specialization right now. It's just a lot of... I looked for mean stack roles, and it's hard to find the Node, Express, Mongo roles. So I'm just focusing on Angular right now for my job, and just because I think it's a better skill set to have. If I could land a Node, a full stack mean or full stack MERN role, that'd be the dream, man. I don't really particularly like just doing front end. The reason for it is oftentimes as a full stack developer, the way that you normally would architect a project is you'd build the back end, then you would start the front end. However, when you only do front end, oftentimes people want you to build the front end before the back end is done, and so you're always like rewriting code and reworking code. It's not very optimal, and I find it infuriating. And I would just rather like to wait till the back end is done. I never had to wait before because I was always just doing my own back end. I thought you were gonna learn C# for the back end. It's one of those things where I think about it, and I asked if I should, but we have so many C# devs that I don't know. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I would like to, but I'm also trying to dive deeper into Angular. So we'll see. I asked my tech lead if I should pick up C#. He said no. All right. I could probably pick it up pretty quickly, especially if I start putting some hours in at home. Oh my goodness, start picking up some C#. Yeah, I don't even know where I would start, to be honest. I guess I would just be at API. What's going on, Arthur? I've been to Meetup last night, and most of the 15-year experienced developers worked in like 12 languages in their career. Do you really personally believe it's better to specialize in one language? I think it's possible to. I also would have to ask what did they have a focus in their career? Because if not, like I'll put it this way: I work in JavaScript, right? But my last job I did JavaScript. I did PHP in the back end. Let's take this job, right? We have a C# backend. I very well in 3 months may start writing C#, and all of a sudden now I have 3 languages that I can write in. Although I wouldn't really say I'm great at PHP. But you sort of have your main language, right? Especially in web development, it's usually JavaScript for the front end. How's Solo Learn? Solo Learn is just an entry-level rundown of the bare bones basic of a language. In terms of certificates, it's exactly that. It's just something to pad the resume. But really, it's just going to be a quick rundown of what you need to know. I think the last thing I have to talk about in my course, for my JavaScript course, I have to talk about promises. Yeah, that is one positive aspect of Solo Learn is it's an app, so you can take it on the go. And if you have a train, you're on the train. A few minutes before class, you can go and just start knocking them out. Am I currently applying to them? No. I'm just saying when I was looking for roles, I didn't see a ton of like actual full stack mean roles. I saw Angular, I saw React, I saw a little bit of Node. Node in the sense that not even the back end. But Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm actively applying for roles at all. I was, though, 3 months ago, before I got my new job. How many hours did you code to finally complete your first project? My first web development project was the Weather API project. It took me about 30 hours, and about 15 of that was struggling trying to understand what I was trying to do and what an API was. I could probably code that in like an hour now in Angular. Had I been applying through recruiters or companies directly? Both. When I was applying, I ended up getting my job. I ended up getting 2 out of the 3 job offers that I got from recruiters. Yes, microservices. We do a ton of microservices. No, I'm doing exclusively front end right now. Just Angular 5. Although I probably should pick up a different backend language just in side projects. Why they bench you like that? They didn't bench me. It's a new role. We have like 12 backend devs and like 4 front end devs. So they're trying to build out their front end team. Yeah. It's as frustrating as it is waiting on other people. It's kind of nice being able to only focus on one thing. Um, because it allows me. It's the first time that I don't have to be a generalist. I can be a specialist, and so I can deep dive onto a certain topic. Do you think your coworkers study a lot in their spare time? None of my coworkers study at all in their spare time. Except maybe one actually, or the 2 front end devs. I think the two front end devs might. The other like 15 don't. Um, I know one front end dev for sure, and then we have a new front end dev who I'm not. He's very good, so I'm guessing he does study. He doesn't. I don't think he studies outside, but he's a very good developer. So I'd say probably just the one and myself. Um, do you know if your coworkers have CS degrees? About one half of them have a degree. I would say 2/3 of them have a degree, and about of those 2/3, about 50% have a CS degree. So in total, about a third have CS degrees. Do you still do resumes in the AMA in these AMAs? Normally I would, man, but I'm actually on my phone, so I'm not gonna be able to. Um, you gotta catch me when it's not 3 a.m. and I'm doing it from the phone. I didn't even want to power up the computer. Do you prefer? Do you prefer front end work over back end work? I think front end's more complicated because there's more moving parts, and I like that you can visualize it. Back end to me is just databases and sending data to and from and protecting said data, so I'm not super thrilled about back end. Do you think you could get an IT job with a 2-year degree? I don't have a degree, and I got a job. Is WordPress good for putting on a resume if you want to do WordPress? Um, should I look into the logic behind a project before I start? You should kind of figure, you should sort of write some pseudocode in your mind. Or if you're just getting started, actually whiteboard it out, like on a whiteboard over there. Um, what are my favorite books? I really liked Ready Player One. Ender's Game is nice. Death on a Pale Horse and A Spell for a Chameleon. Do the requirements for your projects change very often? If I have requirements first, and do they change very often? Yes. All the cliches about not getting clear requirements or requirements changing, it's a very true statement most of the time. Doesn't really bother me. I like to give people shit about it because I feel like that's the only way people get better. But honestly, I'm accustomed to it and it doesn't bother me. I'm also very relaxed most of the time. I've had anxiety issues in the recent term, but like typically I just don't care. I care in the fact that I complete my stuff, but I don't worry about deadlines and timelines. Because I understand that requirements do change, and when requirements change, there are no timelines anymore. So that's how I see it, anyhow. Um, what are the main languages I should know? Any that will put me ahead of the curve? It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do web development, JavaScript. What's the JavaScript front end line of work looking like in the next few years? I think it's looking pretty good, man. You have a bunch of frameworks that are replacing mobile jobs. So you have like React Native and Ionic that's taking away native dev jobs. So the web dev community is growing in that aspect. And then you have, of course, all the in-house jobs, and I think it's doing pretty well. I don't have any degree except my high school degree diploma. Do you think a 4-year degree is needed or is it overrated? It's not needed, but it depends on how hard you want to work. Do you use Angular animations or do you roll your own? So Angular doesn't have any built-in animations. They have animation components that you can then build your own components with and assign with decorators. And that's what I usually do. What am I doing up? Bro, I don't even know. Do you still go to coding meetups? I haven't gone to one in like 3 months ever since the Iron Yard shut down. It used to be 10 minutes away. Now the nearest meetup's like 35. Studying for my final in discrete mathematics right now. What a useless class that is. I remember that class. What an absolute joke that class is. Best platform to find freelance work with JavaScript? I don't know. Are you going to do a vid series on projects we could do or something of that sort? I have a video talking about the 27 side project ideas. Any tips to find a job fast? Make sure you have all your bare bone basics covered, a good resume, a good LinkedIn, your code on your GitHub, a portfolio website, and then apply daily and be willing to move. I do mean daily. When I was looking for work for my first dev job, I was filling out 50 to 100 apps a day. When are you seeing Matt again? I don't know. He's in the Philippines right now. I have vacation time queued up for a little bit, but I can't spend any money. I'm trying to buy a house. Yes, 50 to 100 a day. It's not an exaggeration either. What does a typical junior developer do at work? Do they focus on one part of the website or they add new things? It really depends on the organization. I usually do a lot of build my own applications from scratch. A lot of CRUD applications. But I say this just because it really depends on the organization. Yeah, it was probably I applied for 2 3 weeks, and then I wasn't at 50 to 100 those first 2 3 weeks because I was only applying in California, and then I was applying outside of California, and in total it took me 6 weeks to get my first dev job for when I started applying. But I took like a week or two off because I was moving my stuff out of my apartment to my mom's. Um, so it took me 6 weeks from job app to signed contract when I started looking for work. Yeah, I might have done somewhere around 1,000 apps. Sounds about right. How long did it take you total from beginner to job, would you say? Um, when I dropped out of school to work as a technology trainer, not a dev yet, it took me 9 months to land my role as a developer at another company. But I'd been studying before that, so not as vigorously. I was still in school, but I guess that kind of answers your question. Yeah. Do I regret dropping out of school? No. I regret not doing it earlier. Um, yeah, no. In terms of career, I don't have to go back for school. I'm just choosing to. Um, I found a program that I like, that's cheap, and that goes at a pace I want. Um, for there. Do you put your YouTube channel on your resume or LinkedIn? I put it on both. It's one of my best-selling features as a candidate. It it shows that not only am I passionate about software, it also shows I can code. When I build full stack applications, an employer can see that. When you have 700 videos on software, you might you're either really good at marketing and lying, or you enjoy software. So one or the other. Um, can you guys see how much hair I have? I was going through my videos and I forgot how the guy shaved my head completely bare. Um, how did you develop the discipline to code daily? I started by getting rid of any distractions that I could, um, getting rid of all my game systems, getting rid of all that sort of stuff. I then dropped out of college and knew that there was no going back. Um, and at that time, I was making about 45,000 in downtown Los Angeles, um, and which is poverty wages to put it in there. I was living paycheck to paycheck, didn't could barely keep enough money around for food and whatnot, and that's really all I needed. When you're going to bed hungry some nights, or your mom's bringing you groceries, um, there's everyone has their rock bottom, and for me, it's going to bed hungry, and my mom bringing me groceries, and I was really unhappy, and so I had what more motivation do I need, man? I came home every day, Monday through Thursday. I put in about 3 hours after work, and then on the weekends I put in 8 to 12. How much does an apartment cost in downtown LA? It depends on the quality of the apartment, but like Matt had a studio in downtown LA, and I want to say it was $1,300 on the low end for his little like 250 square foot studio. And it wasn't like a super nice studio. It was a janky like studio. So, but it really depends on the area. I was studying computer science when I was in school. What do I think of cryptocurrencies? I think they're great, man. I think it's a great way to not have to worry about inflation. I think they're potential. They have their place. I already kind of think of cryptocurrencies similar to credit cards. The fact that it's all digital currency. They just built a better card. Instead of getting credit, you actually have the money. As a debit card, it would be a better analogy. So I mean, I'm very for it. I'm also own some cryptocurrencies, so maybe I'm biased. I am a bootcamp grad, but got an offer for a CS degree for low cost fast. So would you recommend going because the low cost are just work and get in the field? I would work and get in the field and then go back if you decide to. Opinion on bouncing back after burnout. I'm finally getting out of the slump. My advice is find something else that's software related that's fun. The thing that happens with me is I get burnt out on certain projects, so I start a different project, or I jump to algorithms, or I go to meetups, or I do something different that's software related. Maybe I focus a little bit more on YouTube, and I jump around project to project where I'm still benefiting as a developer, but whatever I'm stuck on, whatever is the source of the burnout, I go and do something that isn't directly that, right? So if you're stuck on a project and you go and start doing algorithms, right? If you're stuck on algorithms, you start a project. If you're stuck on both, you go to a meetup, and then you kind of let that sort of marinate in your brain, and you find out that you solve it by the time you get home. That's my advice. That's what I do when I get burned out. I also set time limits for myself now. Last weekend I got burnt out because I put in a 13-hour day coding and working, and I told myself no more. So I limit myself to 8 hours a day on the weekends outside of work. So like today I worked for 8 hours and nothing more. So I'm thinking of making an app. I don't know where to start or how to upload it to the App Store, Google Play Store. Well, first thing you have to do is make the app. You have to figure out what it is that you're trying to build. Are you trying to build it for iOS? Are you trying to build it for Android? Are you trying to build a web app that will compile down to both? Once you figure that out, build it. And then the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, there's guides to how to upload that and minor fees. In terms of buying servers and data management, I don't think you have to worry about that quite yet. I went to a meetup with Free Code Camp people, and everyone kind of acted like they were senior developers. Wasn't a good experience. So I've had one bad experience of all the coding meetups I've gone to, and like 1.5. And it's very strange to see how certain people are salty. And I've told this story before when I talk about how I became a developer. Where the guy, I was meeting a subscriber down at a meetup. For a friend invited me down to, and I was like, oh sure, I'll come. I've never met a sub before. That seems exciting. And then the guy interjected like, oh, I didn't know, a pizza delivery driver could make coding tutorials. And he was like a super senior dev with like 10 years experience. He had a chip on his shoulder about something. So you're going to run into those people, man. Software on occasion has those people who have egos and just have issues. Don't let it deter you from going to more meetups down the road. Do I think I'll ever try to start your own company? Not unless my YouTube channel does much better. What are some not so fun parts of the job? I don't like waiting on the back-end devs to finish their work and having to re-edit my front-end code to actually take in real inputs instead of just the mock data I created. What's going on, Aki? Can you give some tips on web development for a beginner? My tips are pretty straightforward. I would say code daily, build projects, start a side project. Really, that's it. And if you do that, you should be successful. Pick up a couple of Udemy courses on occasion. Free Code Camp's great. Apparently, they're releasing their new content on Christmas. Just a nice little Christmas present. What would you describe the biggest difference between senior and junior devs, apart from years of experience? Senior devs usually have a little bit more pull, but they also make a lot more money. I would probably make 50% more money if I had senior in my title. Maybe more, actually. But they might architect out projects a little bit more, make decisions a little bit more. They might be included in those decision talks. Hypothetically speaking, you have skills required for the job and you put CS degree. Do they double check? I have no idea. I don't have the balls to do that. Did I say 50% more? Yeah. Easily 50% more. What's my salary? I don't mind saying, but a lot of times your employers do, so I'll just keep it to myself. Have you ever regretted being a dev? No. I mean, I've had my imposter syndrome moments where I've worried that I wasn't cut out. And that's stressful, but I wouldn't say I regretted being a dev. How many hours should I code a day? 3 to 4, I would say. I will say I make more money than the average junior developer at my work. I found out. I'm well compensated for 1 year experience. Let's put it that way. Did I ever go through anything that made you think in an insanely different way? Nothing that I can talk about on stream. How are you still a junior dev? How many years have you been employed as a dev? A little less than a year and a half. And then I have a 3-month internship with some contract work We can say that's 6 months if we really want to stretch it, so 2 years max. Plus, as a technology trainer in the field, so in the industry, less than 3 years. Longest coding streak, like the longest I went to, the first hackathon I went to, we started at 8 a.m. and I think we left at 11 p.m. Back when I did Jquery, man. I like web dev, not love. Is that enough? I don't know, man. It's a case by case thing. I can tell you most people don't like coding as much as I do, and they are fine developers and fine people. And I could very well in the next year or two be in the same way, right? Do I still use jQuery at all? No. I never use jQuery for anything. And neither should you, by the way. Is C# dying or not? I don't know. I don't think so. I saw a ton of C# jobs. I'd have to do some research, but when I was looking for roles 3 months ago, I saw a ton. What do you use if you don't use jQuery? I use Angular. No jQueries. Every time you look and think about using jQuery, you need to imagine that woman from Game of Thrones with the bell going shame, 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 because that's what's going on. You need to be ashamed. Why did I say you should never use jQuery? Because jQuery is not going to get you a high-paying web dev job. You're wasting your time working with jQuery. You want to spend a weekend or two touching jQuery? Fine. Build a couple projects. You want to make decent money? Go learn React. Go learn Angular. jQuery is an optional skill as far as I'm concerned. Oh, I'm 100% serious. About jQuery. I'm not, like, I know we all like to joke about jQuery's garbage and whatnot. I don't even think it's garbage. I'm just telling you. It's not going to be a skill. It's going to get you money and not get you a job. Even people who don't know how to code use jQuery. Let's put that in perspective for a second. I wouldn't even say it's a dead language. It's just you have web designers using jQuery. It's essentially legacy code. It's a good way of putting it, yes. All right, I got about 5 more minutes in me, then pass it out, guys. I know it says almost everywhere that there'll still be a CS demand in the future, so it's irrational to think that most of these jobs will be outsourced. I think you answered your own question. Should I major in data analytics or CS? Both are great. It just kind of depends which one you're more interested in. Would I put Bootstrap and jQuery in the same unnecessary boat then? I would honestly Bootstrap. I use Bootstrap still just because those are two different things. Bootstrap's a CSS styling framework, and if you're building some CRUD in-house tool, you probably don't care. and you can write your own CSS or override or use material. But to each their own, honestly, man. But it just depends. Yeah, I know. I should be using Flexbox. If you had to start all over, what skills would you learn in 2018 with your current wisdom? Pretty much the skills that I put in for front-end dev, Angular or React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Git. And then I would pick up a back-end language. Probably, I'd have to do some research about what is an appropriate back-end language. But probably... yeah, I don't know. But then a back-end language and a database. When you had to learn code in Java, what do you learn as a learning resource? There's no real learning resources in Java that are any good. Do I feel like Node for backend is sufficient enough? I mean, it's a backend, yeah. I mean, are you talking about, is it enough to get you a job? Is it super in demand? It really just depends. Oh, I've done Flexbox. I'd have to review it, but I've built out projects in Flexbox. I know everyone's always all about that new, have you tried Grid? Have you tried Flexbox? It's like, I don't know. I should though. I should take care a little bit more. Do I use a standing desk? Yeah. It's down right now though. Yo. Alright, 3 minutes, guys. At 45 minutes here, 2 minutes, I'm going to bed. I am putting in the grind. Good for you, AK-47. Good for you. How did I learn Git? I started with the Git desktop tool, and then I started using Tortoise Git at my last role, and then finally I was like, you know what? I'm breaking this habit, and I'm going to just do Git at work. I get it now. I fully understand. Oh shit, I told somebody I was going to do a Git tutorial. I forgot all about it. It's not that bad, guys. I have to do a tutorial just to help you guys out because I feel bad. Is Git necessary at work? Yes, 100%. It's just you have to just sit down and someone just has to explain it to you in fucking English. That's all it is. Yeah, it's definitely a requirement. Yeah, there's literally like 4 or 5 things that you would do with Git. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. That will be my task for the day. And it's only confusing because all the names are fucking stupid. That's the gist of it. In my opinion, anyhow. But I'll do a tutorial. You guys will understand it in 10 minutes. I can teach Git in 10 minutes. Yeah, I just gotta get around to doing it. I'll do it tomorrow. That'll be my task tomorrow. Some easy coding. We'll look you guys up. I'm a little burnt out, but it's also 3:45 a.m. So on that note, everybody have a good night. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, watch all the videos, support me at Patreon, all that jazz. Send me your hard-earned money. All that great stuff. I'll try and work on the Git video tomorrow. See you guys next time. Bye. How do I close this fucking thing?